All right, hello everybody. KV Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you. We've got, believe it or not, some rain bubbling up across central Texas this evening. We're going to have just kind of some isolated hit or miss downpours over the next couple of hours. I don't see any big severe issues, but maybe a couple of, noisy thunderstorms developing. And then in the meantime, we'll be watching what's taking shape out in West Texas. Storms are firing on a dry line out that way, and then if any big clusters of storms develop out west tonight, some of those could move into the hill country and maybe even parts of the I-35 corridor overnight tonight, late evening overnight tonight. So kind of an active weather pattern. Let's start with this. We have a tower cam as well as our Zach Theater camera, and all of a sudden things are starting to look a little bit more turbulent out there, a little bit more stormy with some of these showers and downpours that are taking shape over parts of the I-35 corridor in the Austin metro. For now, it's still 86. Let's see if maybe we can get a little bit of rain-cooled air. So here it is. We'll turn off the temperatures, and you can see we do have some showers and downpours that are developing. So let's go in and kind of inspect some of this stuff, and we'll just kind of go around and see what we've got going on here. I was playing around with this the other day, and I've been trying to get this to work successfully. And clearly, I still have some work to do here. All right, well, guys, I tried with the hand tracker. We can zoom in. All right, so there we go. We do have this downpour, which is developed just on the south side of Austin. Again, this is not severe stuff, but it is this is producing some locally heavy rain. So this is probably going to blossom up and drift north a little bit, right over downtown, so just south of Lady Bird Lake in the, say, Sunset Valley area. That's where we have some rain right now. Let's give this one more try. Come on. I don't understand why this works perfectly every time I test it out. I think maybe it's a vMix thing. Anyways, I won't bore you with that. Let me give you a little bit of a radar tour the old-fashioned way, and we'll back out the view here. See what I mean? It works perfectly that time, just not when I want it to work. All right, so we also have some storms that have developed here in the Bastrop area. So here's a closer look at that one. As you can see, this storm, again, not severe, but it's going up. It's producing some heavy rain that's kind of right along the I-95 corridor, the Highway 95 corridor, and that's drifting up to the north. We'll see if maybe that can get a little bit closer to the Elgin area here before too long. All right, so that's kind of the deal as we go through this evening. We are going to have some showers, some storms around. It's going to be pretty hit or miss, but if you get under one of these, maybe some quick heavy rain. So that's all a good thing. What we have also been watching today is we have this dry line, which is a humidity boundary, which is set up over West Texas. Very common this time of the year. So we had a warm front lift through overnight. That's why we are so much more muggy today. It felt nice and crisp yesterday. Not the case today, as our dew points have surged into the 60s with this Gulf air. Then along this dry line, you can see we're just up and down this thing. Periodically, you get these storms and clusters of storms that develop, and that includes over some of the higher terrain of northern Mexico. I think the main zone that we need to watch is going to be right in here. So if we get a cluster of storms that develops on the southwest side of San Angelo, if that develops and is able to hold on a little bit farther to the east, some of that stuff could move into the hill country and again, maybe even additional parts of our KVUE area overnight tonight. I don't think it's a slam dunk that everybody sees rain tonight. In fact, I think many of us probably won't, but the highest odds are going to be across the hill country. I have a 40% rain chance in the forecast for the hill country tonight. That goes down to a 30% in the Austin metro. Again, the idea being that as storms move east, they're weakening and losing steam, and then especially east of I-35, just a 20% for tonight. So here are the storms. Let's go through this hour by hour. Here's 9 o'clock. And again, look, this is just model data, but I think it picked up on it pretty nicely. If that cluster of storms that's currently out here holds together, maybe even intensifies some, it could be making a run at Mason, Gillespie, Llano counties. We'll see if maybe another cluster develops down to the south too. And here's 10 o'clock. At that point, into Mason County, could have some stormy weather. This model says mainly the northern hill country will watch, but again, this cluster of storms just as easily could be Gillespie County, Blanco County. You guys know how this works. When we're starting to watch stuff out in West Texas, it just gets a little bit chaotic and they drift our direction, but it's always a little tricky to say where exactly these clusters of storms are going to track. Here is 2 a.m. At that point, even into parts of the I-35 corridor, could there be some weakening rain tonight? I think it's a possibility at least, especially the northern I-35 corridor at 2 a.m. Then we keep going. Here's 7 a.m. tomorrow. I think at that point, anything that moves in overnight will probably have weakened, so it should be mainly dry. Heading out the door tomorrow morning, just some patchy areas of low clouds. But then as we go through the day tomorrow, still it's warm and humid. Still, we have plenty of juice in the atmosphere. I think we'll get some more scattered showers and storms that develop mid to late afternoon. Here's about 5 o'clock. Then heading into the evening, some more just hit or miss, pop-up random storms developing, especially along and east of I-35. So the odds of rain tomorrow, also decent, say a 40 to 50% chance. In terms of severe weather for tonight, the biggest concern is going to be out west in the hill country. Then as you go farther east into our neck of the woods, our hill country counties are included in a level 1 risk. They actually expanded this a little farther eastward, so it does technically the marginal threat go into Williamson, western Travis, and western Hayes County. Large hail and strong winds would be the main things to keep an eye out. I don't see a tornado threat tonight, but there could be some hail. So if you want to be on the safe side and you've got a carport or garage and a way to protect your vehicle, it's probably a good idea to do that just to be on the safe side if you're worried about it. So as we go over the next couple of days, these scattered hit or miss storm chances are going to continue. I've been saying this all week long. You very likely will not see rain every single day this week. However, there's a chance for rain just about every single day this week. It's a 40% tomorrow, 40% on Thursday. Friday, I've got a 30%, although this model data is actually still kind of aggressive with some rain, probably a little bit overdone, but a chance for some scattered storms on Friday. Saturday into Sunday, likewise, this model is still trying to keep some rain around, but I'm going to trend us drier, just about a 10% rain chance as we go into the weekend. I don't see this being, blockbuster, drought-busting rain. Honestly, I think these totals pretty meager unless we're able to get one of these bigger clusters of storms that just happens to come in here from the northwest, which is possible. Just impossible to say, hey, this is when exactly that's going to happen. So for now, I think generally 1/4 of an inch to 1 inch or so of rain on average over the next couple of days. And then maybe we'll get back into some rain chances as we get into about Tuesday of next week. European model, I still think this GFS model probably has been too pessimistic, but maybe is a little bit more on the mark. I think this European model has been overly optimistic, but just an example of what the models are printing out for rainfall totals over the next 7 days. So for tonight, mostly cloudy. 30% chance for storms in town. That goes up a little bit in the hill country. Otherwise, will be warm, muggy, a little bit breezy. It'll drop down to 69. Tomorrow, a 40% chance for pop-up storms during the afternoon into the early evening especially. So a decent bet if you don't get any rain this evening or tonight that maybe you could see some rain tomorrow. Then a high temperature of 86 is in the forecast. We'll keep with this weather pattern for Thursday and Friday. And then I think we're trending back drier into the weekend. We'll still keep an eye on Saturday, maybe a little bit of rain around, but I think it'll be mainly dry. Then as we go into early next week, you can see low 90s are back, and then we do have some rain chances, I think, by Tuesday of next week. All right, I'm looking at our tower cam now. We've got our downpour. We've got a visual on it, so let's take this. That's rain falling over downtown Austin. What a novel concept. Here's our... So that was Zach Theater. Here's our tower cam. And again, you can see that rain with this new downpour, which is developed right over town. Look at that. So there comes the rain moving into downtown Austin as we speak. And I'll take you over to the radar here in one moment so you can see what we're looking at. Just a good old-fashioned thunderstorm that has bubbled up here in the Austin Metro. All right, so let's actually do this. We're going to go with this box, and I'm going to put the sky cam up here just so you can see what's going on, and we'll actually do the tower cam in that one just so you can see the high vantage point. All right, so here is our downpour, which is going up. Hey, this is going to produce some heavy rain. This is going to come right over the heart of the Austin Metro. So it is lifting north. So it's moving into downtown now in kind of like the Sunset Valley, South Lamar, South Congress type area. This is probably going to expand right over downtown Austin. It will move into north central Austin, and honestly, it wouldn't be bad if this thing gets kind of slow moving and just sits and parks and drops a little bit of heavy rain. Obviously, we don't want flooding or severe issues, and we'll keep tabs on this, make sure it's not trying to produce any hail. So let's actually go in with the hail tracker. Looks like maybe a little bit of tiny hail in there that's probably not reaching the ground. I think that would be the main concern this evening with some of this stuff bubbling up, just making sure these things don't, try to produce any hail. What other thing we can do here? Let's go to the 3 box and then there we go. We'll do like this. That way we're not blocking anything. So maybe a little bit of small hail. If you guys are watching this on KVUE Plus or on YouTube or whatever, you can send me you can a message or you can post on X and let me know what exactly you're seeing. I think this is mainly heavy rain, though, which is going up over the Austin area, and we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully this thing doesn't intensify anymore in terms of hail, and hopefully it just produces some nice soaking rain, which it is doing right now over parts of the metro. The other storm that we're watching right now is this one. Just the Bastrop County storm. So that is producing some rain in Camp Swift between Elgin and the Bastrop area. For anybody who is just now joining our stream, again, we're watching some hit or miss stuff developing over our area right now, and then we also have additional storms developing on a dry line out in West Texas. So we're going to have some hit or miss stuff this evening, and then we'll see, again, especially if this zone in here gets active and stays active, if this, cluster of storms gets organized, it's possible that could kind of make a run at our area, especially the hill country. So we'll keep an eye on how that goes through the rest of tonight. And, could some of these storms that are popping up right now be a little bit on the strong side? Maybe, but the main reason that we have that marginal risk is for this overnight storm threat and not for the stuff that's popping up right now. So hopefully this is just a little bit of friendly rain, which we definitely need. So here's another look at our storm, which has gone up right over Austin. It will produce some rain. So look, I think that's going to be a good solid update for you for now. I'm going to hop off of KVUE Plus. If this stuff intensifies anymore, we'll get another radar stream on here. I'll get it posted on YouTube and everything with a better thumbnail and stuff so people know where to find it. But again, I think this is just going to be some good rain in spots as we go through the early evening and then late evening into the overnight. Maybe some of this stuff coming into the hill country could be a little bit stronger. That's mainly the time frame we'll watch for the severe weather threat. So it is 7:14 right now. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll obviously have our newscast at 10 o'clock. And then again, if you're watching with us here on KVUE Plus, if things get any more active than what we have right now, I'll get another radar stream up just so that we can pop into that periodically as we go through tonight. But we'll handle that when we get there. Y'all have a good night, and I will keep you up